Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. I hope you're well. Just logging in again for our weekly Sweet Ramblings series. So, hope you're having a great day. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this live with us or if you're watching the replay. And today, I'm really thrilled to be chatting with Mindy from Mindy Paper Cookies. Hi to everyone that's logging in and joining us. It's nice to see you. And I'll try and keep up with the comments again today. So let me know what's going on in your week this week. What have you been up to? You may have heard that there's been some changes on Instagram again. And now that if you're a fan of making reels, you can actually do 60-second reels now, which is another thing for people to get used to. I think it's really clear that they are pushing videos now. So if you haven't had a go at doing some reels, why not just jump on one day and make a quick reel of something that you're working on. It could just be a quick video about the weather where you are, and just get used to being in front of the camera. Also, why not sometimes just jump on in your stories and do a video as well? That's a great way to get your face out there and engage with all of your followers and your friends and your customers. So great, Mindy is here. Let's bring her into the chat. There we go. Morning, how are you?
Good morning. Let me just, here we go.
I always am a little bit hesitant the first time when it connects people, because sometimes it gets glitchy and you don't know, is it going to work or isn't it going to work? So, but it did, it's great. So it's lovely to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Today is one of the 2 days a week that my toddler is at daycare. So, wow, I have the whole day to myself.
That's exciting. I remember those days. So what exciting things do you have planned? You're obviously doing this morning. What else do you have planned for your day?
Well, definitely Tuesdays are cookie decorating. Yep, there's some cooling on the stove right now, and we'll be decorating later. I also have to do some graphic design work later today, so we're going to have to juggle that.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how much you can fit in when you know you've got a certain period of time and it's go, 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 let's get it done.
Yeah. And, you know, I get a lot done during nap time, I can tell you that much, but a whole day, wow.
So before we dive into more of how you schedule everything and how you juggle family life and work life, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about Mindy Paper Cookies and where your name came from?
Sure, it's a fun story. So I just turned 40. You know, not super thrilled about that, but hey, what can we do about it, right?
Okay, you've been there for a while, it's fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking the best of it. Mindy is my childhood nickname. My Christian name is Miranda. And as an adult, I went by Miranda. And then when I started this business, I picked up Mindy. And the story behind the business name is when I was a kid, my parents had me watch Puff the Magic Dragon. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's an animation. It's really sweet. A quick synopsis of it is there's a little boy and his name is Jackie Paper. Remember that. And he imagines this wonderful world that's got Puff the Magic Dragon in it. Jackie gets older, he stops imagining, Puff starts to die. Oh no. So in the end, Jackie starts imagining again, and Puff survives. So I wanted to use this business, this creative outlet, as a way to keep, you know, my imagination alive, my creativity, that curiosity. You know, it's really easy to get overwhelmed with all the responsibilities of being an adult. So Mindy Paper is a reminder to me that I'm going forward on an entrepreneurial business, but I need to remember to have fun with it. And my hope is that I can help other people have fun too with fun cookies.
That's such a good attitude to have, because it can be very overwhelming, I think, when you suddenly realize that you are the boss, so you call the shots and you've got to be your own time management expert. You've got to learn how to schedule everything properly. and it's you're putting yourself out there, so you don't want to let yourself down and how others perceive you either. So that's such a great attitude to have, and I love the story behind it. That's so nice. I think it's great when there's a story behind it, because it makes it personal too.
Yeah.
And really relatable for people. Yeah, that's great. So tell us more about your background in graphic design, and how long have you been doing that, and how did it kind of work its way into the cookie world?
Sure. So I went to college for graphic design. I'm originally from New York. I went to a sweet little college up there at Cazenovia. It's a small school, and it was really, a good motivator. But because I'm older, like web design and that sort of graphic design didn't get offered till my senior year of college. So I wasn't really able to, take those classes and make that my career. I still did graphic design, mainly because my parents were horrified that I wanted to go to school for art.
Yeah.
Because, you're not going to make any money. You're going to be a starving artist, that sort of mentality. So I picked the path that would be most likely to make me money, which was graphic arts. And, I did pretty well. I worked for a state college up in northern New York for 10 years. I was on the path to be the director of the publications office. And then I met my husband. And he lives in Massachusetts. And so I had to make that decision to kind of cut ties. I quit my job and I didn't have another job. I moved to Massachusetts. It was a big leap of faith, but I am so glad I did it, because at that moment I was able to say, what do you want your life to look like? And I set up those parameters, as outrageous as they seemed to me at that time, and I was able to make it happen because of the support of my husband, but still. Mm-hmm. And so now I know I'm in a future that I created, and my happiness is my own responsibility. And I've seen that I've done it, and so I know I can continue doing it. And so that's what I'm trying to do with Mindy Paper Cookies. But the cookie journey specifically started a year ago. It was my birthday. I got gifted one of Renee's glasses, Sweet Cheeks by Renee, and I loved it. She happens to be local to me. She's about half an hour away. And I was like, oh, cool. Maybe this is a business idea. And I said, okay, I'm going to practice a little bit. I'm not going to jump into this. And as my personality is, less than a month later, I had my kitchen certified, and I was just done.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Love that it just got you right away, and you knew that was what you wanted to do, and you just went for it. That is amazing, and so empowering too, that you've let yourself go through that journey, because I think for a lot of people, they're too worried about what other people think.
Yeah.
Like you said, you'll have that opinion, well, you'll never make any money doing this, but a lot of people do, and a lot of people make a lot of money doing this. Yeah. So, if you're that motivated, you'll make it happen. So that's really good. Good for you. I think we need to encourage more of that, really, of people not being afraid to give themselves permission to do that. So that's amazing. So
yeah, I really have to, say, without my partner, I wouldn't, it would have been much more difficult to make that choice. But, I knew that somebody could pay the bills while I tried to make this happen. And he's been so supportive. It's been a wonderful thing.
So how was the journey of getting everything certified within a month? Because I've heard it's difficult in a lot of places, depending on the different cottage laws that you have in your state. Was it easy, or was it a case of always being there and chasing up every email or phone call?
Actually, Massachusetts, within the last 10 years, has really become very friendly to cottage bakers. I actually looked into it before I moved here, because it's always been in the back of my mind to have a bakery. Now, I thought it was going to be my retirement, but hey, why not move that up a little bit? So I already had my business permit, so I already had a DBA because of my graphic design business. So that step was already done. And luckily, right now in Massachusetts, Cottage licenses are done through the town or city you live in. And Haverhill is where I live in Massachusetts. And they were very helpful, very accommodating, willing to talk to me about what steps I needed to take. I had to do a few classes on allergens and just food safety. And I had to show them that those classes were certified, and get the certificate and send it on. And then there's just an annual inspection of the kitchen. And that went really well.
Yeah, that does sound relatively straightforward than a lot of places. Do you have to send recipes in for testing or anything like that?
Not for testing, but the recipe has to go in and it's on file. So if I make any changes, which I tend to do, I have to resend it in, and I haven't done it yet, but it is on my list because I'm always tweaking things. And I mean, any baker knows that your cookies come out, you're like, these taste good, but what if,
Yeah, for sure. That's so true. So how do you manage the juggle then between your graphic design work? Do you still do graphic design work?
Yep. So right now, I have quite a few hats. So mama hat is number one. I mean, wife is also there, but that works out. We're a team. So mother to an almost 2-year-old. His name is Henry. He's the love of my life. He changed my life. He also needs all my attention all the time. So, and we'll come back to that. So he's the biggest hat. I'm also the social media manager for a small museum here in Haverhill. And I also do graphic design work for local Boys and Girls Club and, individuals. So right now I actually have like a 500-page book on my plate. I have a couple meetings coming up for new projects, and I have that constant social media stuff that has to happen. So a month ago, I finally bit the bullet and said, Henry needs to be somewhere else for at least part of the week. Because I was doing my work early in the morning before he got out of bed and shoving as much as I could into those naps. And it was really hard because there was still overflow. But I would try to do while he was awake, and he'd be upset that I wasn't paying attention to him, or he'd be pulling on my leg, which is no good for icing cookies.
No. No, it isn't.
So I try to be really conscious of, where my money goes, because I understand that right now I'm not adding financial income to the family, but decided that it was worth the price for him to go to daycare 2 days a week. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I am a machine.
I remember those days because we have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I know what it's like. You feel guilty from taking your time away from them too, just to pursue whatever it is that you're working towards. So again, good for you for recognizing that and giving yourself the time, because otherwise you'll burn out, and that's no good for anyone then. So yeah, that's really good.
Well, also, I cannot do the late night cooking that a lot of you guys do. I am no good past 10 o'clock.
That's what I was going to ask you, actually. Are you a late night decorator too, or do you have a cutoff, and then once it's that time, that's it?
Yeah, he goes to bed around 7:30, and sometimes I can, do some decorating after that. But the few times I've tried to do anything past 10, I just make silly mistakes, and I'm not happy with it when I wake up in the morning. So I've realized to just not do that and figure out another way.
Yeah, that's good. If you're not productive, then, like you say, if you're going to end up redoing things, then you might as well do it on another day. So as far as your cookie orders, then, do you set limits for what you'll take as far as orders?
I
Try
don't. I don't, because even though, I jumped right into this, I'm actually still consider myself brand new, and I'm trying to figure out what I want this to be. So I know I want this to be an artistic expression for me. I know I don't want to be rushing through, 10 dozen cookies a week. So I'm giving myself permission to figure that out. So that means right now I'm not overwhelmed with orders. And a lot of the cookies I do are for myself or for a collab or for a person that knows me that's actually ordering cookies.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm polishing those skills and everything. And I'm not pushing really hard. Like I could be promoting myself and really pushing for those orders, but I made a conscious decision not to do that because I want to know what my path is before I push that.
That makes sense, doesn't it? Because if you, with a lot of cookiers, I think they feel they have to just hit the ground running and take as many orders as they can to get their name out there. But then there isn't that time to learn and to grow and, like you say, decide which route you want to take with it. So that makes a lot of sense. Where do you see this going? Do you see it being as more of a bespoke kind of offering?
Yeah. So the artist part of me really, really wants to get out there. I've got a couple examples on my table, but I did a cookie for a Mother's Day collab that really brought together a lot of like the essentials of me. Of course, I'm a new mother, so it really spoke to me. But she didn't wear too well, so don't mind some of the defects on her. But you know, this is a large cookie, and these circles, you know, go over top to show how motherhood changed me. And it's an expression of Art Nouveau. It's an original piece of artwork. This is something I came up with. And that's where I want to see myself going. That, you know, like I did a newspaper front page that had someone's portrait on it. It said, "Happy birthday." Those sort of things. It's not the traditional dozen cookies for an event, but it's still something that people will really feel like, wow, this is special to me, but it doesn't clutter up the shelves. You know, you get to eat.
Yeah, that's true. That's beautiful. And I think you've used that picture on your website.
Yeah, it's my profile picture right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really nice that you're going down that route. So just more bespoke and then more tailored orders. Because I think sometimes if you're taking those dozen Paw Patrol orders or something, it's kind of not what your heart is in. It's more what the customer wants. So I love it when cookies feel really empowered to go and do more what they want to do. So in terms of orders, do you prefer then that your customers kind of let you have free reign on their orders?
Absolutely. I kind of insist on it.
Yeah.
So I have them give me, you know, an example, like it's a birthday, we're doing these colors, and the birthday person likes, you know, these things. And then I don't even give them a teaser. They just get their cookies. And because I'm brand new and because I have very few clients, you know, there's been no pushback. So, and if they do, it takes me a minute, but I'm just like, nope, this is what I want to do. And I'm sorry that I'm not going to work out for you.
Yeah, and they have to trust the process too. If they're dealing with someone with your kind of background, then they obviously came to you knowing that that's your style. So yeah, and it's very hard to pivot, I find, if you go down that route of more generic sets to then try and claw back the more artistic side. It can be quite difficult because it almost confuses your customers then. So it's a really good idea, I think, to stick to your aesthetic right from the get-go. So that's really good.
Yeah, and I'm working on, I love my website, but I'm trying to think like a customer, and I think I'm going to redo the whole thing. Mindy Paper was originally, and well, I mean it still is, but graphic design. You know, it started out as graphic design, a way to you know be up and up with taxes and the government and all that, and you know run the money separately. And also I do like paper art. It's kind of like origami. But you know, you can cut the shapes and stuff. Really, I give myself leeway to do whatever I want. But I really want to merge the two, you know, cookies and the graphic design that I was doing in my paper cutting and designs. So I think the new website, you heard it here first, is going to offer, you know, one of the graphic designed handmade cards along with the cookie that matches, you know, and then I think that might be the path. You know, we got to go there. We got to try it out and see.
Yeah, that sounds good. So do you see yourself working more with businesses as opposed to customers, do you think, with that kind of direction?
if I want to do that, I have to ante up to a wholesale kitchen, and that's a whole big thing. So for now, I'll keep it, working directly with customers. But yeah, I'm not against that in the future. If I see the growth potential and if I have the funding to make that step, I'll do it.
So in terms of your graphic design background then, we've talked about Procreate and different ways that designers come up with their cookies. Do you plan everything on paper or computer before you start working on a cookie, or do you just kind of, it evolves as you're decorating? Which sort of do you prefer?
So I love sketching on cookies. That's fun. And that's usually what I do if it's not for like an official order. If I have a customer or client that's ordered from me, I start on paper, trace the cutters, and then, sketch out some designs to see what I want to do. I just bought an iPad and downloaded Procreate, and I started playing with, actually, I'm using Illustrator because I already have that subscription. And I started using the Apple Pencil with it, and oh my goodness, Illustrator is completely different on an iPad with an Apple Pencil, and it is amazing. So I will probably be. But the sketching on cookies, that one's fun because right now I rent space in a gift shop, retail space. So every week I have to produce a cookie. So this is a way that I'm pushing myself so that I don't get stagnant, even though I'm not pushing the orders. Every week I have to make fresh cookies. I have to bring them there. So every week I bake something, I ice it, and then, I make it pretty. Sometimes I don't know until I sit down and look at what colors I already have mixed.
Well, that's a really nice way of keeping things moving too, isn't it? Because then your name will kind of secondhand get out there too when you're advertising on your cookies on the labeling or something?
Yep, advertising on the cookies and the gift shop. It's new, so they've got low traffic, but they advertise too. So I just have to be patient, which is not one of my qualities.
But it's a good place to start, right? Because it's someone else doing the advertising for you too. So that's a really good idea. Any advice for anyone that is looking to do something like that to get their products into a store?
Number one, check with your state and local guidelines. If you have a cottage license, make sure you're allowed to do it. And number two, have a friend. No, that's not really helpful. But yeah, the gift shop owner is a friend of mine. But look for places that have foot traffic. If it's a small gift shop that's not a brand name, you can probably just walk in there, start talking to them, and see if they have a consignment or retail space available for rent. A lot of them really do, especially the ones that lead towards crafty things, local artists and stuff like that. And they're usually open to at least a conversation, and then you know what you're dealing with, and you can get an idea of what the area, like how much they charge in the general area, and decide whether or not that's something you can afford.
And do they give you good feedback as well on what customers are saying about the cookies?
Yeah, yep, they do. In fact, I had a lady on Facebook just say, I would have bought more cookies, but all the chocolate ones were gone. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll make more chocolate ones this week.
That's great feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really helpful. That's awesome. Are you ready for some quick fire questions?
Absolutely.
Seen me do this every week, so you know what's coming. Okay, let's see, what have I got on my list? So when you're piping with your royal icing, do you prefer using tipless bags or using tips?
Even though I started with Renee with tips, absolutely tipless.
Good for you. And then projector or freehand?
Projector for type, freehand for all the rest.
That makes sense with your background too, yeah. I think. Yeah. This one I always try and guess what I think people are going to answer. So flowers or characters? And characters can be not necessarily cartoony characters, but people, faces, those kind of things.
I like the challenge of characters. Like I said, I started with Renee with her florals, but I'm still trying to find an icing that's not rock hard because I want people to be able to eat them. So that would be my tendency towards the graphic characters.
Yeah. it's a good point about florals because you do almost need to use the stiffest icing that you can for them,
Mhm.
almost to the point that it actually hurts your hand when you pipe because it needs to hold that shape. But then you've got the downside to that being that it is going to set quite firmly. So yeah, it's hard to find the right balance for florals, and I think that's why a lot of times you'll just see tiny flowers on a cookie, or
Yeah.
they're just one side of it to give it that balance.
Yeah, I like
Um,
those 2D florals. Those are fun.
yeah, they're really nice. Yeah. In terms of color scheme, bright or pastel?
So bright, so bright. The brighter the better. In fact, I need
Have you?
some suggestions on some neon colorings. Mm.
Oh, nice. Um, have you done much with neon or?
No, but I have a project brewing for a friend that loves neon colors. And I'm like, okay, this has to be on spot on, right?
Yeah, I haven't done anything with neon. I watched, I'm trying to think. Did you do the cookie at the hip hop cookie
I
challenge?
did, yeah. Hmm.
I think that's about the closest that I've done. That was kind of neon,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. That's not my thing. I'm a bit more of a pastel person, I think,
Mhm.
really. So although the kids they like the bright stuff, and I tend to just make things for the kids or just to create content. But
Yeah.
honestly, my heart would be pastel all the time. So
Well, I mean, the other point is, those really rich colors, sometimes they don't taste good. So that's another
no,
thing I'm trying to figure out how to fix because my sister has her wedding next year. I'm making her cookies, of course, and she wants navy blue, and I'm like, oh, I don't. Those might not taste too good.
yeah. So the Master Elite powders, I don't know if you've tried those, but they're actually really good for more of those deeper colors.
Okay.
Um, and because they're powdered and you add a little bit of water to them to activate them, you're not using as much of the color as you would if you were using the gel colors as
Yeah.
such, like Americolor. So I'm trialing those at the moment because I have a set of them now, and they seem good. And I've always been a huge fan of the gel colors, but if I can get something quicker
Yeah.
without that taste issue as well and without the staining
Yeah.
issue,
Yeah. I saw
then
you did the red coast. Yeah. You just did the reds, right?
that's right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I didn't find that there was any taste issue with them, which was my one concern because you're using such a small amount compared to the gels. So they have a huge range of colors. That might be something worth trying as well.
I
To check.
just got some of just the elites for dusting and some of the diamond dust or the glitters or whatever they are. So that's the next one to buy.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What's your favorite cookie flavor to make for yourself, not for orders?
So fresh out of the oven, my browned butter cookies. Oh, I can't resist them. I have to make an extra one because I will cannibalize one of the cookies I'm supposed to be selling if I do not.
Oh, that's funny, but I completely relate. And you need to be the taste tester too, right? You have to make sure everything's quality control. Do you bake a lot for yourself, or is it more so you do?
Yeah, oh, I'm always in the kitchen. I mean, not to mention the toddler always wants something to eat. And I think one of his first words was cookies, and he says it a lot.
That's funny.
And now he can see on the counter where the cookies cool, and he's like, cookie, cookie. I'm like, no, no, your cookies are over here.
So what do you do in terms of storing them then to keep fingers off of them whilst you're working on them?
Well, he can't reach them, but he can see them. So they have a towel over them right now and at night. I don't like closing the containers because you'll get some moisture and stuff like that. So I found putting an extra drying rack on top of the last tier of cookies and draping a towel over the top of them does good for me.
That's a good idea. Is he interested? Has he ever watched you decorate, or do you tend not to do it when he's around?
I really can't do it when he's around. Like he wants to help, but his help consists of pulling everything off the counter onto the floor and You know, that's no good.
No.
Oh,
No.
I did have him when I did paint your own for Easter. You know, I had him paint some cookies and I took some videos and it was really cute. But his hands ended up, oh my goodness, just a rainbow.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think is next for Mindy Paper Cookies? What's your short-term goals that you have?
Well, I've got some exciting stuff coming up. So I finally talked to some local businesses, and starting in August, I'll be doing pop-ups around Haverhill. I'll be sitting in their lobbies for a couple hours on Thursdays when Henry's at daycare. And I'll be selling single cookies so that people can get a taste and can learn about me and kind of spread the word type of thing.
That's awesome. You must be really excited for that too.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. So we're going to see lots of advertising of you posting dates and things. That's going to be really good. So, and then long term, what are your plans, do you think?
Long term is, you know, to make this a viable addition to the finances of the household. I really want to push for cookies plus graphic design. So, you know, I'm going to have an online store set up. Eventually, I'm going to make that jump to wholesale so that I can ship outside of Massachusetts. There's big goals, and we're going to get there, but I'm going to try not to rush it because that's when you make mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So the other question I haven't asked you yet is, what's your favorite tool? What's the one cookie tool? If someone was new starting out today, what would you say is the one thing they would absolutely have to get?
I would, you know, a lot of people say scribe, but you know, you can use a toothpick. Definitely the swivel. It makes such a difference. And, you know, I'm giving away all my secrets here, but my husband and I are going to try and figure out a way to make a swivel that has a button on it that vibrates for you when you need to smooth out that flood, because you don't know how many times I've been shaking cookie and it flips off and smashes on my chest or falls on the table.
Yeah. Oh, that. I think you'd be onto a winner with that, because I know with me, when sometimes you'll pick up your cookie and you'll give it that little jiggle and then your finger.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, it happens.
Oh no,
yeah,
I eat it.
Yeah, oh well. It's kind of all sorts of ingenious things that people have used. They've used a dentist tool that shakes.
Sure.
But I think if you can get a turntable or swivel that will turn itself and shake itself, then that you need to do that.
Okay, well, now that I've said it, now we have to advance the project. Like, we've just been talking about it for a couple months, so now I got to make it happen.
But I mean, who would have thought that a simple cookie turntable would be such a game changer for people?
Makes such a difference. So much easier to get to those details and fix things before your icing sets up. It really, yeah,
it does. Yeah, for sure. So, well, this has been great. Any last things that you want to show us or talk about?
I've got a couple cookies here I can show you. So dragons are a theme, if you remember from the beginning. So this was, this design is a little 3D dragon, and he was the design that, like, I said to myself, oh, I can do something with this. This guy's cool. So
I love that.
For a while, I was putting him on my bonus cookie with all the orders. But I've gotten a little lazy lately, so I gotta get back to doing that. So now people have been gifting me dragon cookie cutters. So look at that guy. Isn't he awesome?
I love that. And see, I don't know if you remember, but I'm Welsh originally, so dragons are right up my street. Yeah.
My brother just did our history and figured out we're Scottish, and so he was tracing all that back. So that's fun. But yeah, I just got an airbrush for my birthday, so fun new tool to learn how to use. So yeah, there's good things coming.
Yeah, that's exciting. It's a really nice time to be in your business because everything's still new, but you've got so much potential with it. And I think these days there's so much information out there from people that have been through all the hurdles so that you don't have to go through all the hurdles
Yeah, there's
too.
so many lives. Like with you, you give tips and people do tutorials for free. You can pay for tutorials. In fact, I have one that I paid for a month ago and I haven't done yet. But you can join the cookiers. I mean, yep, there's so many things.
Yeah, there is. So, well, this has been great. It has been really nice to talk to you. I know that we've probably crossed paths in the cookies before, but nice to actually talk to you one-on-one.
Nice
So
to meet you.
great to learn about the background with your business, and I'm really excited. I want you to make that swivel. I'll
Okay.
definitely.
All right.
I'm going to hold you to it. Maybe that should be your next 90-day project for the cookies.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, thanks again for joining me today, Mindy. And for everyone else that's joined, I will be sharing Mindy's link in the description for this video. You can catch it on IGTV as well if you want to watch the replay. Next week, I'm going to be joined with a fellow YouTuber called, she's Carly. She's goes by the handle Adventures in Yum. And with videos being such a big thing at the moment, such a hot topic, I think it's going to be great to talk to someone else that does videos too, and we can just kind of share all the tips and tricks that we use in our videos, because we want to kind of encourage more and more people to do videos. So have you gone down that route yet of starting to make videos? Is that something that you might try?
I have started, and I did quite a few lives this morning because I had makeup on. Like,
and I think it's kind of a hurdle, like with people going live. Once you've done it once, it demystifies it, and it's not bad as everyone thinks it is. So I never thought I'd be doing this every week and being, feeling comfortable with it. But it's just fun, right? Talking to people.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, hopefully next week's Sweet Ramblings will inspire people to make more videos too. So make sure you check that out. I'll post all the details closer to the date as well. And that's it from me. Thanks once again, Mindy, and I will see everybody next week. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.